Step one is to create a yoke on which you are going to attach the feathers. I like to use polar fleece for the yoke, and I just cut a simple half circle out of it, approximately the size that you'd want to reach your collarbone. I like to use polar fleece because it's soft against the skin, and the thickness of the fabric disguises the rough ends of the feathers so that you don't feel them through the fabric while you're wearing the costume. Alright, step two involves your hot glue gun. You're going to take a yoke of feathers, which comes pre-strung in these nice strips that they usually sell in lengths of about a yard. And out of a yard, I'm going to cut the pieces to the correct length to fit over each shoulder, reaching as far back and forward as I'm going to want for my costume. So that can be variable based on your taste. And I'm going to make sure that my feather ends don't extend past the polar fleece in any way when I glue them down to the fabric. So I don't have anything sharp that's going to be poking me or sticking out in an unsightly manner around the edge of my trim. So I'm just going to put small inch-wide lines of glue along the underside of the feathers, and then gently and very carefully push down on that small inch until it's made a good connection. Now I'm going to have to be patient again and wait for that glue to dry for a moment so I don't pull it back up while it's in the drying process. Then when I feel like that's not moving anywhere, I'm going to start on my next inch, and I'm going to continue to do that until the feathers are glued down all the way across the lining. These rooster feathers are really lush and thick, but in order to get the popping off the shoulder quality that I want from this feather shoulder pad, I'm going to have to use more than one layer. This is going to consist of 3 layers. So we've entirely glued down our first layer. Now I'm going to go back and add a second, shorter layer that will get sandwiched in the middle, and I'm going to turn the feathers facing up to give them that nice wing-like quality and to hold up the next layer that'll go on top of that. Once this is glued down, I will add yet a 3rd layer and make sure that the feathers from that one are also facing upward. You'll see a distinct difference between the feathers going down and when I flip them over and they're standing up. Now that all the layers of feathers have been glued down securely and all the edges have been tucked in and a little extra glue added to make sure they don't pop off, I'm going to add a little bit of trim to conceal the ends of the feathers, which kind of look ragged and ugly right along the inside edge here. You could skip this step and you still have a workable garment, but it's nice to make a clean finished edge against your skin. To make this look especially natural, I've chosen a trim that looks a bit feathery. If you're going to use something that's all jumbly and fluffy like this, I would recommend that you apply your hot glue directly to the feathered edge first and then lay your trim on top of it, rather than try to glue your messy, crazy trim and then lay it on the feathers. That would probably really be a hassle. That the yoke in the back is still undecorated with feathers, which gives you a really nice surface for bringing across whatever trim you have and connecting it to the other side. This keeps it firmly on your neck and helps it to not conflict with the back of whatever dress or outfit you might be using. Alright, I've got all the trim glued on now, and I really like this fluffy black trim because it looks like a part of the feathers, like the fluffy down that might be at the bottom of the feathers on a lot of birds. Another tip I could give you is to leave a little bit of the polar fleece or whatever material you're using sticking out in front of all of the glued on feathers and trim, so that in the end you have something to sew or attach your ribbon if you choose to go under the arms, or your necklace part if you choose to go across the chest with the front of this garment. Well, it's almost finished, so now it's time for you to get really creative. Have fun with it. Find some trim or some embellishments that really make you happy. Perhaps attach a necklace across the front. Try to make it a real sturdy one. You can also buy a clasp or attach grommets right here and hook it to your garmentry right here and here. It could be done with concealed pins as well, but I would recommend making them fairly sturdy if you're going to have anything pulling on it at all, right along the shoulder line. Find some jewels. Maybe have some sparkling jewels dotted here and there amongst the feathers. Play with colors. You can always add more feathers on top of this and tuck them under the existing trim slightly. So you could add little spots of color on the top of it in a very exciting way if you wanted to. There's just so many things you can do to it once you get it to this point. But this is the basis of how to build one. And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and will join me again for more costume tips and information from Isles of Day. If you're interested in seeing some finished designs, you can visit me on Isles of Day on Facebook, or come to my shop on Etsy, also called Isles of Day.